Hey, I'm a console gamer and the Steam Deck is my first entry into PC gaming, and it has been an amazing experience so far. To have a handheld that is more powerful than a PlayStation 4 that allows you to play Elden Ring in your bed is amazing. I will explain everything I love about the Steam Deck from a console player's perspective, and it's only gonna get better as more improved Steam Decks come out. The first thing is a proper console. It's not a baby machine like the Nintendo Switch. The Steam Deck is 10 times stronger than the Nintendo Switch. So this makes a huge difference in the caliber and experiences of the games you're playing. Look at something like Witcher 3. On the Nintendo Switch, while you can play it, it is nowhere near the true extreme experience. Like, I remember seeing the cutscenes and most of the monsters, I didn't even know what they were in it. I'm like that trying to look. But with the Steam Deck's Witcher 3, you're getting a true gaming PC, gaming laptop experience. It's the true 10 out of 10 version. Good draw distances, graphics looking banging with the 720p screen, everything looking Can you imagine even fathoming Elden Ring on Nintendo Switch? It would blow up. This is really the only way to truly experience AAA gaming on the go and not have something big and clunky like a gaming PC. Unlike the Nintendo Switch, this is made for adults. You know, it's made for real man hands, big woman hands. I can play for hours with this, no problem, without any strain, without any pain. With the Nintendo Switch, if you don't use a comfort grip, because it's actually made for like Japanese children, this is why it's just so uncomfortable. It's just horrible to use. It causes pain. This you can play for hours and hours without any problem, guaranteed. Now, it isn't that heavy for its size. It's actually a lot lighter than you think it is. It weighs 669 grams, which is 1.4 pounds. And I play with like my elbows attached to my side, which obviously takes a lot of the weight off. But really, it's comfortable. The controls are extremely solid. Everything has a nice click to it. Everything's where they should be, and it's very intuitive. When I gave it to my friend to play Witcher 3 for the first time, he played it no problem, you know. You see the D-pads here. This is how you go to different games when you want to click the Steam library. Obviously, you got the two, sort of mouse pads that are used for first-person shooters. You got the X, Y, A, B button, and then you got the back triggers here, the panels, and obviously the left and right stick. It's really good, it's really customizable. The only problem this has versus the Nintendo Switch is if any of these things break, you're obviously gonna have to open the casing and repair it. Luckily, iFixit has replacement Steam parts coming in, and as Valve produces more parts, they're gonna be more readily available. And as a digital nomad life like me, it is phenomenal for traveling. Because right now, I'm in a hostel private room, and I can play the Steam Deck on the sofa, I can play it in my bed, I can play wherever I want, because it's portable. I was contemplating bringing my Xbox Series S, which is actually quite a portable console, but I decided against it because I'm only really going to play this. And bearing in mind, something like a PlayStation 5 would have took the majority of my suitcase, and it's just too heavy, too cumbersome, it's not worth it. Whereas this is so small, the case that you get with it for free as well is extremely high quality. This ain't no joke, man. Case this would be like maybe $30, $35 if you bought it separately, but Valve obviously brings it with the game itself, which is another big plus. You can play it wherever. I've played this on a plane, I've played this on the train, you can play it in a car, wherever you want, you can play it, you can bring it, play it anywhere. If you travel for work, the Steam Deck is the perfect travel companion to keep you entertained on those long roads. Now, the main issue, and it's not really an issue, it's just a byproduct of having something so powerful in the palms of your hand, is the battery life. For a game like Witcher 3, a game from 2015, expect 2 hours, 28 minutes. Elden Ring, really 1 hour to 30 minutes, more like 1 hour, especially if you're in a more demanding area. And even in an older game like Fallout New Vegas, expect, 4 to 5 hours, 3 hours, something like that. If you're playing, an indie game, then maybe 5-6 hours, but it's not going to last a long time. The one thing the Nintendo Switch has over this is the battery life on the Nintendo Switch is much better. You see, the charger itself isn't too big. This is a UK charger, so I got you see, it's pretty small, isn't it? It's definitely not that big, so you can easily bring the charger with you and play anytime. Because bearing in mind, if you use a power bank like my one from Anchor, this one I thought it would be able to charge the Steam Deck, and this has 20,000 amp. But this doesn't do nothing to the Steam Deck. You know, the Steam Deck, when you plug it in, says, this isn't enough charge. So it barely makes a difference on the power assumption. But luckily, when you play it while it's plugged in, even if it has 10% battery, the charge isn't going to go. So that's what it's designed to do. And it's not like a Nintendo Switch where it's actually portable. You can play it on a 4 or 5 hour car journey. What it is a gaming PC that's portable, but it's not meant to be played on the go. It's meant to be taken to the place you're going to be in, like a coffee place or wherever. And then obviously where you have the charge, you can play it while you charge. Don't really expect more than 1 to 2 hours if you're playing the latest AAA game. And one thing, online is free. And as a console gamer, this is very interesting to me. Because bearing in mind, online will cost you $45.99 for Xbox Live and $59.99 for PlayStation Now. You can get Xbox Live for $45.99 for 1 year if you buy it from CD Keys, which is the #1 game key retailer that you can see my review or the link in the description. This is a big deal for console gamers because it's strange that I can just play my Steam Deck, log in Elden Ring, and I see all the messages, everything there. Whereas if I was on PlayStation or Xbox, I would have to pay money for that. And especially for me as a digital nomad, when I'm not really playing too many games, it's an unneeded expense, you know, roughly 1 AAA game a year that you can save by going 100% Steam Deck, which is what I'm doing right now. I don't pay for any other subscription. Now, games are a lot cheaper on PC than consoles. Another saving. I bought Death Stranding's Director's Cut on CD Keys for $23.99, which is a bargain. On PlayStation Store, it is $59.99, more than double the price. And every single AAA game that will ever be released ever is going to be cheaper on Steam. So the game selection is incredible. Right now, out of the 50,000 plus Steam games on Steam, 1,565 are verified for the Steam Deck, with more coming every day. Now I'm going to explain what verified means. There are 4 different categories. Vertified, which is a green tick, means that it works straight out of the box and it will work perfectly. Now, playable means it works, but you have to do some minor tweaking. For example, when I downloaded Final Fantasy X, you just have to select the setting is on Japanese initially. You just pick English and then it will work just fine. Unsupported is where the games don't work. So think of anything VR. Steam Deck in this time doesn't support VR, so Half-Life Alyx, you can't play that. And lastly, it's untested, where it means the games haven't been tested. Now, I think the vast majority of Steam games that are untested will work 100% with the Steam Deck because the games just recognize it as a PC. So certain things you might have to do. So for example, Fallout New Vegas, when I bought that, I had to download Fallout 3 first to download these scripts in order to download Fallout New Vegas correctly. So there's little things, you know, obviously, you know, console gamer, we're usually not really technically savvy, so we want something, boom, to work straight at the gate. Steam Deck, obviously, all the verified things on Steam Deck will work perfectly, but they're not 100% verified. For example, Death Stranding, obviously it works 10/10, but I found many times that if you pause the game in the menu, when you go back, it won't work. And by pause, I mean you press sleep on the Steam Deck. So there's that. Like, not everything will be 100% verified, but a vast majority of games, you have a fantastic, phenomenal experience. Now, the Steam Deck is an emulation machine, arguably the best machine for emulation. You can play PS2 games, even incredibly hard to emulate P3 games, even Switch games. All these games and more can be played on the Steam Deck, and you can also stream Xbox Game Pass games on here. All these different things can be done with the Steam Deck, but you have to be reasonably technically savvy. I am, you know, not an idiot with tech, but I'm kind of an idiot. So when I tried to download using the extremely easy emulation program that installs all the emulators on this, I couldn't actually get it to work correctly. But that's me. If you're more technically savvy than me, it should work fine. I know countless people who've done it. Now, the UI is fantastic. Everything works snappy, seamlessly. It just works perfect. Even with my version, which is the 64GB version, I don't have the quickest memory. You can easily switch a game in roughly 1 minute, which is quick. And you know, you can get a 512GB SD card for about $79 on Amazon, down in the link in the description. So to upgrade your storage is extremely easy and cheap and efficient with this. Once games are successfully emulated and downloaded, they will show up just on your library like a normal Steam game that you can just and click and play. Now, if you're finding value in this video, please like, because it helps it spread to more people. Now, it's a computer. Bearing in mind when Gabe said it's a PC, he was not lying. This is a computer. All you have to do, hold down this button, switch to desktop mode, and boom, you're gonna be playing Linux. So if you're a travel person and you travel for work a lot, this is flawless because this is a powerful PC. Like, I loaded up a couple websites, zoom, everything working, zoom. You need a monitor, or you can use a TV. You can use any HDMI to USB-C converter. Anyone will work, and you'll be able to plug this in any monitor, any TV setup you want. You could argue, oh, you could use a gaming PC, but for a similar gaming PC that has as much power of this, you have to probably pay, I don't know, $900, bearing in mind. And it's super bulky and chunky, whereas this is, super light. Now, the only way to get a Steam Deck right now, if you weren't lucky enough to pre-order it, is to buy it on a site like eBay. Right now, the 512 gigabyte version is averaging roughly $700 to $1,000. It is expensive, but bearing in mind, only very few people in the world have this. And for you to pre-order another Steam Deck, I'd say at least next year before your orders are going to come through, because they're still doing orders now. I got my Steam Deck, I bought it at launch day and I only got it like a couple months ago. So, it's going to take a long time. Now, to take a look at the best prices, and why not, you can treat yourself, buy it for yourself. No one else has it in the world, more or less. Take a look at the best prices on eBay in the link in the description or pinned comment. So is it worth it? 1 billion% yes. Arguably, this is the most important piece of gaming tech in the last 10 years, maybe ever, because you have something that is 10 times more powerful than Nintendo Switch, as more powerful than a PlayStation 4 in the palms of your hand. And if you want to get an equivalent gaming PC, you probably have to spend, $900, $1,000, because you have to buy all the peripherals, the mouse, keyboard, screen, everything comes with it. Remember, the internal storage in here is easily upgradable. All you have to do is have a little tech knowledge, open it up, boom, you can switch to SSD, no problem. And if you're not tech savvy like me, just buy the 64 gigabyte version and just buy a couple SD cards for $79 for 512 gigabytes. And you have, reasonably super quick storage. Remember, it only took me about a minute to switch from game to game, and you can save a lot of money and download countless games onto your SD card. And also remember, all your controllers that you have, your keyboard, your mouse, your PlayStation 5 controller, Xbox controller, all these are going to work flawlessly because this works via Bluetooth. I was able to connect my Xbox and PlayStation controller with this easily. And as I mentioned, you can use a dock, just use a standard HDMI, USB-C to HDMI converter, slap this in a TV with your controller, and you have like a console gaming experience, just like that. Honestly, it is a masterpiece. These reviews that say 7 out of 10, it's not ready, they're all talking bullshit, they're all talking wuss. This is a 9 out of 10 console at least. The only thing that's missing is the battery life. If the battery life was doubled, that you could play Elden Ring for 2 hours, Witcher 4 or 5 hours, then okay, then it's 10 out of 10. That's the only thing that's missing for this, the battery life. Please like if you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see the X reasons why the Steam Deck is a must buy and why it's an amazing piece of hardware, check this video out. My name's the Tech Gamer. Gaming and tech, what can be better? Goodbye.